Joining us tonight. A few notes before we begin the program. Please use speaker view found in the top right-hand corner of your screen to best view the program. We're going to be muting everyone now and beginning the program. Please enjoy the special slideshow.
Good evening. I am Michael Goldberg, our UJA campaign chair. It is my honor to welcome you here tonight. I hope everyone is healthy and staying safe. First, I want to thank the incredible campaign team at Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West for the work on tonight's program. The ever positive Rebecca Pollack, Vice President of Campaign, Rookie of the Year Beth Rosenthal, Director of Philanthropic Leadership, and Diane Bass, Director of Women's Philanthropy. I hope you all enjoyed receiving the Pacesetter's Then and Now book in the mail and feeling pride seeing the images of our past and present reflected in the opening slideshow. Spend a minute to scroll through the Zoom gallery. I am reminded every day of the strength of our Greater Metro West community, the role we play in addressing human needs, and bringing people together in the service of the greater good. You built our Jewish community and continue to keep it thriving. I am proud to be here among you. After all, I live and work here too. When I was reflecting on the past few months and all the people on this Zoom, and all that the people on the Zoom have made possible, the words miracle worker popped into my mind. But then Barry Ostrowski is here tonight, and his hospital system has a lot of miracle workers. But the way you have helped our community during this crisis is indeed nothing short of miraculous. There are so many new initiatives that you have started. The leadership here tonight moves our programs forward in Greater Metro West, in Israel, the former Soviet Union, and beyond. But don't take my word for it, no one ever does. Take a look at how you are helping. That video really speaks to me, and I hope it does to you too. Because of you, We are answering prayers and making a difference. Your support through annual giving helps us stand even more firmly on our foundation and move the needle on the key aspects of our mission. You, this very audience, makes up 50% of our annual campaign dollars year after year. Simply said, we cannot do this essential work without you, and we are grateful for your investment and confidence in Federation. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dov Ben-Shimon, CEO and Executive Vice President of the Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West, New Jersey.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm going to start by asking every one of us to take 2 minutes. We're going to pause the program for 2 minutes and write in the chat box your hopes and dreams for the new year in Greater Metro West, in Israel, in the global Jewish community. What do you want to see in the new year? It can be as philosophical or as mundane as you like, but we're going to pause for a moment and share those dreams and hopes with us in the chat right now. Good health, a pandemic-free world, health and safety. Can't get much better than this. We'll try to wait for another couple of minutes. Health and happiness to all, health and travel back to Israel, world peace and health, a less divisive world, health, happiness, and safety, a community we can depend on, our children and grandchildren feeling safe and healthy and confident, everyone seeing better times, working with our colleagues in person, health, a world filled with compassion. Oh my God, these are wonderful. I hope our children feel safe enough to come into our home, a safe Greater Metro West, and being able to be with them. Thank you. These are wonderful. Please keep them going so that we can just keep looking at these while I want to say a few extra words. It's just lovely to see. So here we are. In just 2 days' time, we pause to reflect and sanctify the year ahead. Rosh Hashanah is a time for renewal, family, community, so much more so this year. It's been an incredible year, filled with pain and loss, but also with the best of our energy, our efforts, our inspiration. We've lost loved ones, Federation past and present leaders, family members of our volunteers and professionals. There's been so much uncertainty that as the CEO of our Federation, I've had to grapple with and look for ways to meet that challenge, making sure that our professionals are safe and protected, that our agencies and programs are supported, making sure that our community is connected. And I know that we will get through this. I'm thankful that we have a strong, stable, and proud Jewish community that stands up for those in need, that protects and cares for our vulnerable and keeps us connected. It's all because of you, because of your support and your values that allows us to do this work together. I'm going to talk about this a little later, but it's your counsel and your ideas that have really meant a lot to us these past 6 months. We like to say that the strength of a Jewish Federation and a community rests on the fact that we are where we are today because of what we've built. We were able to help after 9/11, for example, because we were working with agencies and partners on 9/10. A colleague of mine said the other day, well, if we didn't have a Jewish Federation now, we'd have to invent it. But you can't invent this kind of absolute good during a crisis. You need it in place before the crisis, so we're ready to respond from day one, not week 27, which is where we are now. We were built for this. This is what federations do every day. Even in the worst of times, federations never close. That's why I'm so proud of the huge efforts your leadership has allowed us to make to support local community needs and at the same time to support people in Israel in need and around the world. We've allocated millions of dollars to our partner agencies, to our programs to help care for those in need, to build Jewish community life, and to save the world, one person at a time. We've learned some amazing things about the strength and resilience of our community and about how we need each other now more than ever. When our local Jewish newspaper closed down, we negotiated and interviewed other providers, and I'm proud that a Jewish newspaper in print edition is coming back this week to our community, that every Holocaust survivor in our community is taken care of, that mental health counseling and elder care services and families in need have continued to receive the help they need these past 6 months because of you. As food insecurity became more of a dire issue during the pandemic, we increased our support for Jewish Family Services of Central New Jersey, the Union Y, the JCCs, providing 400 kosher meals on wheels and nutritional support every week. 1,400 people receive regular food pantry help, and another 1,000 people receive kosher healthy meals every week thanks to our USDA partnership. As social isolation became more and more of a terrible blow to the elderly and the isolated, we increased our support for mental health counseling for 400 clients a week, and for literally hundreds of people every week who benefit from our Federation's chaplaincy program, from family online support programs, and other platforms that help us connect and support the community. In this age of social distancing, we've learned how to use the best elements of our technology to keep us connected. Just look at tonight, for example. The creativity and resourcefulness of our lay and professional leaders in Federation have been an inspiration. Nationally, our Jewish Federation is one of the only federations to exceed its campaign goals, which allows us to continue to help and support our community. We're innovative and creative in how we respond to our community's needs and future. Every one of us is part of that renewal. I'm so grateful to all of you. We picked up the phone or emailed you or connected in some way, some new way this year. And you've always been there to share this sacred calling. I want to make sure that you can call me anytime. My cell phone is 908-208-9521, and I'm going to ask Julie to put that in the chat as well. And your counsel and concerns and ideas are always my priority as the CEO. I want you to feel free to call me when you want to chat or you want to guide us. We are today the largest non-city Jewish federation in the country because of you. In a few months, we'll share with you a full, proper count of this community based on a full survey of who we are. We'll share with you everything we're going to learn from the community study data and what we'll do with it. We'll share with you what we're planning in our day after committee, which will focus on scenario planning and how we're looking to strengthen the agencies and programs of our community. We'll get ready for an incredible celebration of the centennial of this federation in 2023. We'll go back to Israel for another amazing community mission in 2 years' time. We'll continue to deepen our commitment to care for those in need, to build community, and to save the world. And we'll do all of this because of you, because your leadership literally sets the pace for the future of this community, of who we are. How fortunate we are to have you. In the last few days, you should have received a bottle of kosher Israeli wine and some dried fruits in advance of tonight's event. This was a special gift from our amazingly awesome campaign chair, Michael Goldberg, and I want to thank him publicly for his generosity of spirit and all-round menschlichkeit manner. I invite you to take a moment now before we continue to pour yourself a glass of delicious wine and join me in a l'chaim and a she'achiyanu. I'm going to pause for a second so we can all get our wine together. You're going to be unmuted for this little toast. So here's one I prepared earlier. Join me, please, in a blessing for wine, followed by a she'achiyanu.
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei
Thank you, Michael.
she'achiyanu. Everyone ready? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, may we all be inscribed for health and happiness in the book of life. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce our president, David Saginaw.
You're muted.
David, you're muted.
David, we can't hear you.
I thought when
go.
everybody was we were off. Are we all okay now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you, Dub. And let me publicly say that I am thrilled for our entire Greater Metro-West community to have you as our CEO, and for me personally as my professional partner in this sacred work that our Federation engages in every day. Good evening, everyone. When Scott Krieger asked me a year and a half ago if I would succeed him as president of the Federation, my response was, not in your wildest dreams. All kidding aside, I was honored to have the opportunity to lead our Federation after a 19-year hiatus since being the general campaign chair in 2001. But never could I have imagined the economic and existential challenges that COVID-19 would create for the world, let alone our Greater Metro-West community. In normal times, this event tonight would be an opportunity for me to share with this group my vision and thoughts about the next 3 years. But because we all know that this virus is not going away anytime in the near future, I feel a need to take a different direction in my remarks, reinforcing the adage that we mortals plan and God laughs. As Dub just described a few minutes ago, our Greater Metro-West community responded brilliantly to what COVID-19 threw our way. You, as supporters and volunteers, helped us meet this crisis head on and actually enable us to exceed our 2020 campaign goal, raising $21.3 million in unrestricted dollars to help the most vulnerable and ensure a vibrant, strong Jewish community. When adding in designated giving through our Federation, we raised more than $25 million for our community. That's an extraordinary feat unto itself, but even more profound during a crisis. We should all be proud of what we accomplished. We may have been hurting, but we realize that there are others who are hurting more, and it is our responsibility to help. I'm also grateful to Dov, his senior management team, and our entire professional staff. I can't say enough about how they adjusted to their world being turned upside down and working from home in our new virtual reality without skipping a beat. And also having the insight and perseverance to change the paradigm of how our Federation operates. Our success as an organization is due to a true lay professional partnership, and our community is better for it today. And I want to assure you that we are poised to deal with the challenges we will face in the future and move forward. Which brings me to 2 items. The first are the notes of a meeting in Newark in 1923 of the Conference of Jewish Charities, the predecessor organization which, after many name changes, eventually became Greater Metro-West. There is a photo of this group on page 2 of the book, Pacesetter Event and Now, that each of you received in the mail prior to this event. I am not a student of history, but looking at the names of the founders, A.J. Diamond, Louis Bamberger, Felix Fold, among other giants of that time, makes me take pause. We are sitting here today in 2020, and I have to believe that the leaders who created what is now Greater Metro-West, including the founders of Central New Jersey and Sussex County, weren't thinking about what the community would look like 100 years into the future. They were dealing, rightfully so, with the here and now of their Jewish community. Today, in 2020, our Federation cannot only have a single focus. We must, as they say, multitask. Of course, we must deal with our here and now. But because of our good fortune to be living in a time of great prosperity for our Jewish community, not only in terms of financial resources, but also human resources, it is our responsibility to look towards the future and help ensure a strong Jewish community for our children, for our grandchildren, and for the generations to follow. This is why we are launching a Greater Metro-West Centennial. Throughout the next 3 years, we will celebrate our first 100 years and are committed to raising $250 million, both in current and endowed gifts, that will ensure the future of our Greater Metro-West community for generations to come. Everyone here tonight will have the opportunity to participate in this historic undertaking, and I thank you in advance for taking our calls and sitting down for these very important conversations about our community's future. And a heartfelt thank you to those who have already made your centennial commitment. Now for the second item. At our first board meeting of the year, 2 nights ago, I shared with the Federation Board a document that recognizes Greater Metro West donors who are no longer with us, who had the foresight to endow their annual UJA campaign gift during their lifetimes. Currently, there are 203 names on that list. These endowed gifts represented more than 10% of the 21.3 million that we raised in the 2020 UJA annual campaign that closed this past June 30th. Talk about helping ensure the future. It is our responsibility to make sure that these members of our community are remembered each year, not just by the aggregate dollar amount that their endowed gifts contribute to the annual campaign, but also in a manner that is more personal. During this past year, we were saddened by the passing of a few gentle giants in our community, many of whom will be remembered in perpetuity through their legacy commitments to Greater Metro West. They surely would have been here with us tonight, and we miss them. We will benefit from their philanthropic commitment to our community for years to come. May their memories be for a blessing. It is so important to remember those who came before us and also to look to the future. And of course, we must focus on today. For that, I would like to introduce a friend, a pillar of our Greater Metro West community, and a national leader of our North American Jewish community, Mark Wilf.
Thank you, David. And it is indeed, as you alluded to, an honor to stand on the shoulders of giants tonight. And thank you, David. We're truly fortunate to have you as our president, and Godspeed in your term as leader. And I know you'll do an outstanding job. I'm always excited to speak to my chevra, my friends, my mishpacha, who share my values and dedication to the Jewish community. I'm privileged to be chairman of the Jewish Federations of North America, and equally proud to be part of this wonderful mishpacha, a member of the Greater Metro West community, and a proud Pacesetter donor. Some may say that the model of collective giving has gone out of favor, but I think the power and impact of collective action has been on full display as the only effective way to ensure the needs of the entire community. Many of you know that my parents were Holocaust survivors, and much of what drives my volunteer efforts and philanthropy are lessons learned by their examples. When a human being is unable to advocate for him or herself, it is our sacred obligation as Jews, quite frankly as human beings, to be their voice. I know this last year, when I was at Congregation Eitz Chaim in Livingston on Rosh Hashanah, and all of us in our shuls, what we prayed for and hoped for a year ago, health and happiness, unfortunately did not come true for so many in this epidemic and in these trying times. But our world has paused, reevaluated. Family time has become more precious, and in many times we've been able to spend that time with our families. And we've also developed, I believe, a perspective on what's truly important. So let's seize the opportunity out of this challenge and out of these difficult times for change and growth. And as we say in Federation, we are built for this moment. That's why we've saved so many lives and touched so many people. And so I join the chorus of others in saying thank you, Greater Metro West's most generous donors, and serving as the protectors of our community so that we may emerge stronger in the years to come. Lashana Tova to all of you and your families. Am Yisrael Chai.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for all you do on a local and national level to ensure a strong Jewish community. Thanks to your generosity and the generosity of major donors and foundations from across the country, Jewish Federations of North America is offering us an incredible matching gift opportunity to help the most vulnerable in our community. Any new or increased dollars will be matched 1 to 2, up to $500,000. For example, if you make a $10,000 increase, it will be matched by $5,000 to help with local human service needs, such as food insecurity, mental health, and career counseling. Your generosity not only addresses needs, you also bring joy to the recipients and to yourselves by helping others. Here's a look at a heartwarming video to remind us of the joy you make possible to so many.
Hey Don,
Yes,
can you hold these for me?
hold it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Our grandparents, Don and Joyce, have been married for 68 years. Through thick and thin, they've been together the whole time. On May 1st, our grandmother, Joyce, tested positive and had to be admitted to the COVID-19 recovery floor. And for the first time in their whole marriage of 67 years at that point in time, they had been separated.
As we talked about the logistics, the staff and I came up with an idea that they could be surprised.
Can I turn you around for a second?
Okay. I have to cry from happiness. Oh, I don't know how long it's been. It seems like forever, but it wasn't that long.
Your hair even grew.
Just hearing their joy at simply being able to hold hands made, it was the biggest gift.
Jewish Federations of North America had an event today, Covelling event. And I saw this video then, and it reminds me every time I see my wife, I covel, and I can't imagine what it's going to be like in the future to see my wife in these times. So I appreciate this video very much. And I can think of no better inspiration to, at this time, really talk about my family's gift to the 2021 annual campaign, and I hope you will join me. I always believe you should lead by example. While giving is never exclusive, I do hold a special place for our Greater Metro West Federation, the professionals who so ably advocate for those in need, and the residents we assist. I am very fortunate to be able to give back as follows: $165,000 to the annual campaign for 2021, and we made a multi-year pledge, increasing 10% each year for the next 2 years, 2022 and 2023. $100,000 to the Holocaust Survivors Fund to be paid over the next 5 years. And I never saw a challenge I didn't like. Just ask my wife when we were dating. An additional $20,000, which will be added to $10,000 from the JFNA match to provide $30,000 in immediate funds for our local community. I feel good about what I am doing, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
Well, I'd like to speak up if I can on behalf of the entire Will family. First of all, I want to thank Michael for your incredible leadership of the UJA campaign. I know when we were in Russia just a year ago, it seems like 100 years ago, but just to see the growth and the passion that you have shared and spread in the community, and just incredibly fortunate personally and as a member of this community to have you at the helm of our campaign. So kol hakavod on your gift and kol hakavod on all your leadership. On behalf of the entire Will family, we're very privileged to participate again in this Pacesetters event. And we're announcing an increase of 100,000 from last year to $1.6 million. And we'll do that for a minimum of the coming 3 years to keep in the 3-year campaigns. We'll also be doing $300,000 towards the Holocaust Survivor campaign over the next 3 years. So like I said in my remarks, it's a great privilege to be in this group, a real group that we're standing on giants, and there are many among all of us here that are going to make the way forward, especially in these trying times. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for your incredible generosity and the generosity of your family. I'm very proud of where we stand, and I know, and I have to thank Jane also. Jane is going to be leading our Centennial campaign coming up in 2023, and we all remember what a great event the mission to Israel once, and really how engaged everybody became. There were 96 new people who never went to Israel, and Israel couldn't be a better place to go. After yesterday, I know Mark was at the White House with Eric Fingerhut representing JFNA, and you couldn't feel more proud of what the steps Israel is making to incorporate itself in the Middle East. And we all realized how special Israel is through their technology, through their innovation, of how successful they are, and how everybody wants to be part of what they are doing. They have a lot to offer to the whole Middle East, and I think it's a great time in our lives, and I can't wait to go back to Israel. And that will happen in a couple of years, I believe, through the Centennial. If there's anybody else who would like us to join us in sharing your gift, please raise your hand or let us know in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself.
Well, Michael, I just want to say that you know, I'm honored to be president of the Federation, and I'm thrilled to announce that, you know, Paula and I now became pacesetters for this particular campaign. And in addition to that, we are supporting the Holocaust Survivors Initiative over the next 3 years. And I'm just so proud of what this community does and accomplishes. And it's a great sense of pride to be here. You know, I grew up in Detroit, but this is my community as an adult, and I couldn't be prouder. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, David. And Paula, always a group effort. I don't know, Julie, is there anybody else who feels so inclined? Or if not, I'm sure Rebecca and all of us will hopefully reach out to you. Not only to talk about, it's not only, I always say this, not only about the money, it's about your involvement and engagement and knowing what we do as an organization. We want to make sure every dollar that you invest is well spent, and we are working to get all the information. Lauren Silverstein, who recently wrote an article in A Jewish Philanthropy, talks about how we're incorporating all the departments of Federation so that we can communicate directly with everybody who makes an investment, so they feel it's the most well-spent money that they are making. And I know my wife Terry feels that way, because otherwise, I always tell her the donations are taxable. It only costs us half, but the American Express bill, we don't get any breaks on that. I have to put a little humor in. So Julie, I don't know if you see anybody. If
No,
not,
I'm looking.
Hi, Michael. It's Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Okay. You hear me? Hi. All right. So although Steve and I have not yet had the opportunity to have a conversation with leadership about what we're going to do, we are both passionate about this community, as you probably can guess, and we will at least commit to continue our gift, which is well over the Pacesetter level, not well over, but we feel really good about being able to do that. And we will be speaking with leadership and making our final commitment. But I'm so proud of all that is going on here, how we are navigating these times, your leadership, David, Dove, and the whole team. We've got an incredible community here, and Steve and I are so proud to be part of it. And we will continue to make our most philanthropic gift here at Federation.
Thank you, Lori and Steve.
Michael, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yes.
It's Alan Hammer. Susan and I endeavor to follow in the example set by my parents. And I just have to say, we're all so proud of Michael. My father would be so proud of Michael if he were alive. You're doing a tremendous job, Michael. Not to say that Mark is not doing a tremendous job, but we're so pleased.
You could have been sitting here, but, you know.
We're gonna increase to 120,000.
Thank you very much, Alan and Susan. I know we're all partners in some buildings, and I hope to increase the distribution so that in the future you will be able to make greater and greater investments in our federation.
We were hoping you would make increases so I could do this year's.
Yes. I think Murray Halpern wanted to make a comment or two.
Unmute myself.
You are unmuted.
I am unmuted. Shana Tova, everybody, and it's really great to kind of gather like this. Yesterday was such an incredible miracle to watch another peace unfold in the Middle East right before our eyes, so unexpectedly, and Yasher Koach to our wonderful chairs here, Michael and Mark and everyone, the entire, I'm very honored to be on the committee, and Batchev and I want to commit to $118,000 this year, and beyond what our overall the family obligation is. So wishing everyone, we better pray better this year. Clearly it didn't work last year, so everyone, let's give it our all, and we will get through this together. God bless.
Thank you, Murray Batchevin and your family. We really appreciate it. And just because you're a neighbor, you didn't have to be nice to me tonight, but I really appreciate it. And I think,
Can I speak?
Yes.
This is David Rocker. On behalf of Marion and myself, we want to wish everyone a healthy and a sweet new year, and for everyone to be safe. And we're fortunate to be able to pledge $215,000 to the campaign. And of course, we're very much involved with Jewish camping. And it's an additional gift. This is in addition to the gift that we will make there. And we wish everybody a wonderful year. And thank everyone for their efforts.
Thank you, Marion and David. You know, there was a couple of weeks ago that you were honored by Jewish camps. You made a significant investment there, and we all know that Jewish learning, Jewish identity is so much important to today's youth, and we really appreciate that, and I wish you the best. I went to camp, and I can't imagine what people are going through having to stay with their parents in their house right now, so I couldn't wait to go to camp.
I think
Thank
the parents
you very much.
were eager to have the kids go to camp.
Yes. Julie, if that's...
I think that's it, unless anybody else wants to speak.
Okay.
Great.
Well, thank you all for your incredible generosity. As many of you know, during the height of the New York's COVID crisis at 7 o'clock, like clockwork, the quiet streets, and my wife will always say it was a little too quiet and because the restaurants were closed, would fill with sounds of cheers, cowbells, and whoops at people on their balconies as they expressed appreciation and thanks for the city's healthcare workers. Well, I don't have a cowbell, and I won't embarrass myself by cheering, but that is how I feel about each and every one of you. I salute you, I thank you, and I'm most appreciative of what you do year in and year out for our community. Please join me on October 13th for our major gifts event on Zoom. Some good news from Greater Metro West with keynote speaker Barry Ostrowski, President and CEO of RWJ Barnabas Health. As I said at the Monday's board meeting, when I see friends, they always say to me how upside down today's world is. And I usually reply, I am making a difference through my work at Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West, and I hope you will do something also. So I thank everybody tonight. Shana Tova, wishing you and your loved ones a happy, healthy, and meaningful year. Good night, and like we said, we ended on time, so I hope you all will have a very special night and drink some more, and thank you very much for all you do. Thank you.
Hi, Michael. Very nice, Michael.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, Maxine, everybody.
Shana Tova, everyone.
Everybody. Shana Tova.
Tova.
Tova, everyone.
It's good to see everybody.
Nice. Hi, Betty. Hi, David and Marion.
Hello, everybody.
Good to see you.
Thank you, everyone. Alan, hi.
Shana Tova, everybody.
Shana Tova, everybody.
Hi, Bina.
Al.
Hi.
Okay.
So good to see you.
Good night.
Hi, Warren. And Paula.
All right, I think Michael, me, Dov, and Mark can take our sport jackets off now.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Steve never put one
All
on.
right.
Thank you.
Great job. Fabulous. Beautiful.
Well done.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who worked so hard on the events. Thank you.